Just to recap what we were discussing last week before we broke up, Swami is telling us that we are all enrolled in this course of Atma Vidya, that everyone who is reading this should consider themselves as Atma Vidya and a student who should be interested in yearning to learn it. Then he goes on to say what the primary qualifications of a student are. We talked about the four aspects of sadhana, that's viveka, vairagya, and the six qualities which the student should possess. We had gone over them briefly. So that's where we were. And so we will continue from that point onwards. Sairam. Sairam sisters.
Lead a dharmic life. The highest Atma, Paramatma, has 6 chief characteristics: complete wisdom, jnana, complete renunciation, vairagya, divine beauty, the fullest splendor of power, aishwarya, undiminished fame, and inexhaustible fortune. His nature is full existence, sat, full knowledge, chit, and full bliss, ananda. These are also related to people through the Atma in them. So all humanity has a right to realize and enjoy these characteristics and this nature. That is the ordained duty. The travail of the world today is due to people not performing this ordained duty. In daily life, the common person acts quite contrary to the dictates of the Dharma, of the householder, Grahastha. People do not follow the path laid down by the scriptures, Satras, and by the law text of Manu Smriti. They do not have an iota of truthfulness in them. Truth is the most holy virtue. So, leading a primitive type of life, people lose courage at the slightest upset and give up the adventure of life. People develop a kind of pseudo renunciation. If only they would enter upon the householder's life with the attitude of performing their duty, they would not need to run away from it and seek caves and forests for escape. Each can realize the Lord in their assignment of duty in their dharmic life. The contemplation of the Lord must proceed in union with the dharmic life. This type of life has no need for status, scholarship, or vanity. The latter only lead people astray. It is only through this life that the mind and the intellect can be controlled. The knowledge vidya of Atma cultivated and the will sublimated.
Thank you very much, sister. So Swami has covered quite a bit here. So he starts off with the 6 chief characteristics of Atma or Paramatma. And then he goes on to say that the common man does not discharge the duties of a householder properly. And so Swami has identified a few faults or defects which we should watch out for. And then he goes on to say that the contemplation of the Lord is also equally important while leading a dharmic life. So that's what Swami has said. So I will not dwell on it too much. And I will open it up for others to comment and share your thoughts, Saira.
Hi, Ram. Like Swami is talking about the Manusmriti. Is it something that, like, is Swami expecting that we should learn that or follow it in today's day and age?
Yeah, Swami mentions Manu Shastram, Manusmriti at many points, many places. It's a very large manual, but Swami has culled whatever is really key for our lives here itself. But I think Swami expects us to make some effort to study, if not the entire text, at least certain sections which may be relevant to us. But that is, I think, for each student. But I think the basic principles from Manusmriti is already provided here for devotees, I think. But I think it makes some sense for us to make efforts to learn. That's my understanding. Saira, others can share your thoughts, please. Saira. Because just to elaborate on that, see what one of the things which Swami is the refrain which Swami again and again repeats is that many of these texts, which are the foundation of the Sanatana Dharma, have been neglected. People don't read. Everyone thinks that somebody else should read and let them give us the gist. We will be happy with that. I think that's generally the attitude, but I think Swami expects at least a few to take up a deeper study, a serious study. And that is the way we are going to maintain these texts for posterity, for the future generations. And there are times when Swami has said, especially the Indians say, you all have these texts, but none of you all are reading. There are Westerners who come eagerly and study the language and study these texts and translate. And then you all are reading their translations. You all are not making any efforts, even though you are born as Bharatiyas. So that has been a common refrain of Swami. So I think there is an expectation from Swami for people who are interested to take up that study in detail, Saira.
Sairam, I have a question here. Swami is talking about the 6 characteristics of the Atma. And also he's talking about the divine, that is Satchit Ananda. How this has relationship with the Satchidananda? Those characteristics, I couldn't grasp the ideas, those two things. Kindly, I need some clarity on that, please. Thank you, Saira.
Okay, Saira, brother. I will ask anyone else who would like to comment on this, please. Because I think brother's question is, Swami is talking about the 6 chief characteristics. And then Swami is also talking about his nature. So I think how they are related or correlated. And is there an overlap? I think that sort of question is Brother Arul's, I think. Anyone who would like to discuss, please do so, Saira.
Sairam, brother. So according to my little knowledge, for everyone has the Satchit Ananda. So the whatever the 6 characteristics, whatever is mentioned is here, is very, very important in order to achieve the Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means it's a permanent. Sit is the knowledge. That bliss means Ananda. So if you don't have that knowledge, whatever is mentioned here, wisdoms come from the knowledge and and your prayer, that will give some experience, that will give the wisdom. So vairagya is very important to away from the attachment. If you have that attachment, you cannot do anything in this world. That means our spiritual side. So then we were spending our most of the time in achieving some goals in our worldly spiritual procedures. So we have to work on those whatever is mentioned in the shastras, and we have to do our work, everything in the dharmic world. Dharmic world means, I think when we're doing any action, it has to be with the love. Love is God. So action plus love is dharma. So when we work on that, when we cultivate with that kind of knowledge, then we can control the mind. Yeah, that is my understanding. Thank you.
Sairam brother, first please differentiate the characteristics and the nature, no? Because it is very, it could be a subtle difference, but help us to first see the difference or the similarity.
Okay, I think I don't know whether Auntie is present.
She's there. She's there.
Sairam Auntie, I think the Telugu Vahini has a little more than what's here. I don't know if you could read and sort of go over some of them, it will be useful.
I read it?
Yes, Auntie. Page 89, 90. At the Atmaswarupa, I think the last sentence.
Not last sentence, you mean?
From there, at the Atmaswarupa.
Let me read this one. Avi evanna vivekamu vairagyamu shatsampatulu ఆరు విధములైన సద్గుణములు ఈ మూడు కలిగి ఉంటున్న వాడు నిశ్చయముగా ఆత్మను పొందగల. No, this is not it. I think this. No, next one. Yeah. Okay. ఈ అట్టి ఆత్మస్వరూపుడైన పరమాత్మకు సహితము 6 గుణములు కలవు. అవి పరిపూర్ణ జ్ఞానము, వైరాగ్యము, సౌందర్యము, ఐశ్వర్యము, కీర్తి, శ్రీ. So 6 qualities of the Atma, his Swami is saying. ఈ గుణస్వరూపుడు సత్ సంపూర్ణ స్థితి, చిత్ పరిపూర్ణ జ్ఞానము, ఆనందము పరిపూర్ణానందము. ఇవి కేవలము భూత ప్రేత పిశాచములకు సంబంధించినవి కావు, పవిత్రులైన మానవునికి సంబంధించినవి. కానీ ఇట్ సత్ చిత్ ఆనంద స్వరూపుని కూడా కోరుట సర్వ మానవ కోటికి సమాన హక్కు, అదే వాని విద్యుక్త ధర్మము. This is Swami is saying here. So how to connect these 6 qualities of the Atma with the Satchidananda, brother is asking.
Yes.
But the word for characteristic and the word for nature, what is the using?
Swami has not used the word nature. Okay, Swami basically says this Paramatma has, Auntie will correct and quote Auntie. This Paramatma has these 6 gunas. And Swami goes about explaining the 6, listing those gunas. Then he says this Paramatma who is embodied qualities.
Mm.
Is Sat, is Chit, and is Ananda.
Okay.
So he is not calling Sat, Chit, Ananda a nature or quality. He's telling Paramatma is Sat, Paramatma is Chit,
Okay.
Paramatma is Ananda.
Chari, auntie.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
So, but in the translation, it says that's why people. So he says Sat, Chit, Ananda are not qualities. Sat is Brahman. Chit is also him. Atman is Chit. Atman is.
Right. Yeah.
So the thing is, these are three ways we can experience. Then Swami goes on to say, these three do not relate to Bhuta, Preta, Pisacha. So that means they don't relate to any Bhutas. You can say elements, I guess. Preta means corpse. Or Pisach means ghosts. These don't relate to these. But
Human
these relate to a man.
Man, human being.
Human being.
So, yeah. So essentially, go ahead, sister, go ahead. Yeah.
No.
Manivashi.
These 6 qualities of Paramatma, and he is the same Sat Chit Ananda. How are these related to people through the Atma?
Yeah.
I mean, people, how can they relate to these qualities as a human being? That's the question, I think, which was asked.
Yeah. So
but I can relate this one. Wisdom, Dhyana can be given completely to the full knowledge. Chit aspect of a human being is Jnana. And Aishwarya can be connected to full bliss, Ananda. Is it right, Arun?
Yes,
yeah, it makes sense, Mani Ambashimanti.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the very existence of our existence is Paramatma's Sat. We exist because of the existence of Paramatma. Existence is given to us by that Sat.
So
I don't know. But you can further. Sarah.
Yeah, that Paramatma has the 6 qualities. No, that's also his Satchitananda. Also that people, also that human beings also have that same Atma is when they are coming in, they are spark of the divine. No? So they have the Atma. They have the whole qualities there, and that because of that vasanas and that what they are brought for the generation that they brought the vasanas, they covered all these good qualities. No, so he had to bring it out, the qualities, by his by what we are going to do, that sadhanas, like chanting, meditation, everything, that we had to bring that out. That's the things the Swami saying that, I guess. Thanks, Saira.
Saira, I totally agree with Brother Rajababa. So if Paramatma has these 6 qualities and 3 natural existence virtue, then as we are a spark of the divine or part of the divine or Amsa, so we should be able to exhibit these 9 items. At least Sat Chit, Sat is of course ever existent. So we should be able to exhibit in our daily life through spiritual sadhana. So the meditation, because this is coming under meditation, so meditation will reveal to us to express these 6 plus 3 natures. So yeah, that's the thing. Exactly what Rajaval said. So the brother Arul's question was, this is the same thing or different? I don't know.
So humanity, the right to realize and enjoy these characteristics, this nature. Brother Sairam, the last sentence gives you a little bit of understanding on this. All the humanity has a right to realize and enjoy the characteristic and this nature. So we are seeing the characteristics has these natures. So once you realize it, I think we feel the Sat Chit Ananda. That's my understanding on this. Thank you, Sairam.
Yes, Aruna, I think we have the right to realize these qualities, and we can manifest these qualities according to Swami if we are following ordained duty of a human being.
Yeah, ordained. Yeah.
That is the I think we can manifest these qualities. We have that capacity, but only thing is we have not realized it. Sairam.
Yeah.
Sairam, there's a question in the chat as well.
So there are 2 questions from Sri
Yeah.
You can read out.
Okay, I can. So, can you explain a bit about Bhutam, ghosts, etc.? What does that mean? And also, the highest Atma or Paramata does not have any qualities. That was the understanding. So, if you could explain a bit more.
Okay, so I think they all related. So we'll again go back to, I think Brother Arul's question was, how do we correlate Satchit Ananda to the 6 qualities? I think the way Swami has said it in the Telugu at least, Parabrahman and Sat, Parabrahman and Chit, Parabrahman and Ananda, Swami has used synonymously. We should understand the Satchita in there are different ways of expressing the same thing is what I would understand. Because there are other words also which are used to describe Paramatman. There are Satyam Shivam Sundaram, Asti Bhati Priyam. So there are many words which actually talks about the same Paramatma. Okay, so for some people he will say he's Sat. For some people he will see him as Chit. Some people he will say Ananda. The person who is completely immersed in Ananda all the time, he is not worried about calling him Chit, or for him that Anandam is God, and there's nothing more. Swami has used the word Paripurna Anandam. That's complete joy. Means it will never change. So I think there are different ways you can visualize that Paramatma. I think that's the way those 3 words are used. But the same Paramatma exhibits certain qualities with which we can perceive. The thing is, he will be full of jnana. As Auntie said, Chit is full knowledge. So jnana is little less than, because once the jnana comes, it is a duality. It is present. Jnana means there is somebody who has to know, somebody who is known. Whereas Chit is just consciousness. It is not observing something. Jnana is slightly externally focused, because a person who is in that state will have complete jnana of the world. When he looks at the world, so that's the quality which he exhibits while dealing with the world. The same thing, renunciation. A person who is one with Paramatman will exhibit vairagya, means he will not be attached to anything in this world. He will have to, I think the word which is used is Aishwarya. splendor of power is the word which is used. I don't know whether that does justify the word Aishwarya, because Aishwarya also means everything in the wealth of all kinds is also Aishwarya.
Yeah.
And then he says fame, kirti is the word Swami has used, which is because of that type of existence, people will have a very high opinion, you know. His fame will be spreading everywhere. And the last one is, I think, is translated as
inexhaustible fortune.
So the thing is, I think they have said inexhaustible fortune. The word which Swami has used is Sri.
Sri, yeah. Again, yeah.
This the Sri means anything which is auspicious, which is divine, which is so it is not necessarily an inexhaustible fortune. It is because Sri means many people treat Lakshmi as Sri. So they will say she brings all wealth. So Aishwarya and Sri are more or less related, but they are different still, because Sri has certain spiritual connotations. Swami says these are all the characteristics which a Paramatman will exhibit in this world.
Yeah.
And I think then the question of Sister Kalyani, that we thought Paramatman doesn't have any qualities. See, the Brahman, the unmanifest Brahman, is without any qualities. But the first, as the Brahman becomes manifest, he manifests as Ishvara. I think that we have discussed.
Yeah.
Ishvara. So these are so Swami is treating this Ishvara, which is manifested Parabrahma in the first stage as part of this creation, is what Swami is referring to it as Paramatma. Because once, I think we discussed Paramatma, Jivatma also last time.
Yeah.
When Jivatma is present, Paramatma will also present. Swami has used that distinction word, because that means in the created world, there is Paramatma and there is Jivatma. So the Paramatman or Ishvara Tattva exhibits these qualities. And then I think the question was, how come Bhuta and corpse and ghosts are all in the play? Swami often tells us that if we do not exhibit divinity, we are all walking corpses. Walking corpses mean we are only related to the body. The Shivam is the one which is there energizing. If you do not identify with that, but we are all worried about our body, Swami will call us all walking corpses.
Shavam. Shavam.
Shavam. Okay.
Shavam.
Shivam is not there, means Shavam. Okay, you are not exhibiting Chit, consciousness, then you are all. So we are dressing up well, you know, and walking around. Swami will say these are just corpses, walking around after decorating themselves. They are not taking around the divinity with them. So that is the point. That's on. Again, the ghost is also means it's an empty shell. It lacks all divine qualities. And so that's why Swami is saying this kind of behavior and Paramatman are not related. Human being means who exhibits human values. That person has to exhibit these qualities. That is what I understand. I will stop here. Anyone else would like to comment or compliment or suggest any other meaning? Please go ahead.
Sairam, brother and everyone here, please forgive me. I am going to say something. It might not be appropriate. What I see is, look at our Lord, Sathya Sai Baba. He exhibits all these things. He has everything that mentioned here. So, highest Atma is Paramatma. When it is in the Iswara form, in the Iswara form or the degenerated form, has everything. So we are also part of him, or spark of him, or part of him, or one with him. So our ordained duty is to manifest all these, because these are not alien to us. These are with us. Only thing is clouded. So it is our prime duty to do the meditation, because coming under meditation, Dhyana Vahini. So all spiritual sadhana, especially meditation, through meditation, let us manifest these qualities, and the merger will be easy at the end. That's what I said. You know, that's what I meant by this one. Thank you, Saira.
Saira, thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Saira, what is the meaning of the Manusmriti, maybe the Manu Shastra, or the in the second passage, the second sentence, it gives some sort of explanation. People do not follow the path laid down by the scriptures, sastras, and by the low texts of Manusmriti. Yeah, and this Manu Shastra, or whether this is the one, it's kind of some sort of maybe the legislative provisions of how a man should lead a life, or what kind of law text of this one, whether the who was written this one, or the some sort of sort of in the, maybe the I know there's a Manusastra and the but I don't know the what it really relates to the in this context, and whether whether that sort of law text exists, or whether who has written that one. Maybe it's slightly different from the subject, but just my curiosity to know about this law text of Menu.
Okay, sister. Anyone who would like to comment on
Thank you, Saira. Okay, go ahead. Please go ahead. Okay, Saira, this we have dealt. We have dealt this before. Maybe in the Dharma Vahini Tamil, very detailed. This was dealt actually. By the word Shastra, generally we see from Bhagawan's usage, the Veda and Shastra and Manusmriti. That's what it comes like. So Veda is the top highest text, and anything written based on Veda are called Shastras. So, and bit later, these Smritis, Dharmasastras. Dharmasastras were written by rishis again. Several rishis have written Smritis, but the chief of that is Manu, written by Manu. So, Manusmriti is writing the duties of all four varnas and all four ashramas. All varna duties and ashrama duties are described in Manusmriti without contradicting the Veda or with the other sastras. So if it is contradict with Veda, it should be rejected. That's our culture. So there were so many Smritis were rejected by our people, because it contradicted to the Veda. So here, because Baba is referring here the householders, because the people who are reading this text will be householders mostly, because that the people who are renounced it, they will not read this because they don't need this one. So Baba is writing to us who are householders. So householders, the Baba is saying that sometimes people, due to some misunderstanding in the family, they give up the family and go to caves and forest. But they because they don't understand what Manusmriti said and what our duty is. Each ashramam, that's our Grihastha ashramam, if it is correctly fulfilled, it will give liberation. But because we have a lack of understanding, and we go to forest and things, leaving the family in the middle. So, so that is what the Manusmriti, in short, the very chief and very prominent and accepted by Baba also, like others, this is clearly giving us what a householder has to do, what a brahmachari has to do, what the forest dweller has to do, and what a renunciate has to do. So Baba is asking us to follow this. And also in the earlier this question came, and the brother said that, okay, we have to study this. That's, I agree. But that's what here Baba is mentioning clearly. And at the same time, we have to know that if the Sathya Sai speaks are clearly read, and all the wines are clearly read, and all what Bhagavan converse with the others are clearly read, our duties are there. So, if so Baba is just mentioning Smriti and telling that they do not have an iota of truthfulness in them. So the truthfulness, the Smriti is speaking, but people does not follow it. So that's what I could say here. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to talk about? Okay, so even if in the absence of anyone, maybe I will say something. So the belief is that Brahma creates Manu as the person who would populate this world and grants him all the knowledge. So the thing is, each kalpa, which is what Brahma's time is, within that there are supposed to be about 14 Manus, and each Manu will rule for a period called Manvantara. And within Manvantara, I think there are a few Chatur Yugas, the 4 Yugas, and so on. So it is the classification of time. So the first Manu of this Brahma is called Swayambhu Manu. And he's, as the, the first king or the first ruler of this entire universe, is supposed to have set out rules of conduct for everyone. If we read the Manusmriti, it basically says the sages approached Manu, who himself is the sage, and to grant them the rules of conduct which people have to follow. So to them, Manu basically gave a series of instructions, which is contained in a text, book called Manusmriti or Manu Dharma Shastra. Many people study it. We can say that is the constitution for mankind, for lack of a better word. It covers various aspects of one's life on earth. So what Swami is talking here is we should follow the rules given in that. So if just to give some context so that we can relate it to today's world. For example, if we are driving a car, we are supposed to follow the rules laid down by the government, by the Traffic Act, how traffic should function. That is the legal document. If everyone in this world may not be able to read that legal act and understand and interpret it, but we all given extracts from that act, which we had to follow while driving a vehicle or walking on the street and so on. So according to whether we are driving a car, driving a van, or driving a motorbike, or driving a bicycle, or just walking, we are supposed to follow the rules laid down in that act. So Manadharma Shastra is similar to that. That if anyone who wants to do a deeper study should read it, is what Swami is telling. But that is the text which has been handed down to mankind by the original Manu, Swayambhu Manu, and it applies for the entire Kalpa as long as this Brahma is present and creating the world. And that's what Swami would say. So as long as we are alive, we should follow the rule laid down there. And Swami is basically providing us some certain relevant information for us to follow. And I think if we follow what Swami has said, I think that's extract relevant for us from the Manusmriti, in simple terms. But if anyone wants to study more, I think it's a good idea. That's why I hope I have answered to my understanding, but Sister Ananthi, if you have any more questions.
Yeah, exactly. I really liked the answer, and I really got the whatever the Swami has given, maybe the layman language interpretation of the low text of Menu Iradi. Thank you, Brother Sivadas and Brother Arunu and others, they explained, now I got what it really means by whatever the Swami's explanation is maybe the simple language or plain language of the plain language interpretation of the low text of Menu. Thank you so much. I got it. Thank you.
Tyron, brother. So I like the third paragraph because of how Baba is talking about status, scholarship, vanity. This kind of things, it is not going to help us in to understand the Atma, that full existence. Full existence is the Atma. There's a permanent. It's going to be present, past, this life, next life. This is not going to be die or anything. So it's going to be permanent. So in order to understand, experience that one, the knowledge of Vidya, Atma Vidya is important.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Ram. I just have a basic question. So here in other places, Chit is translated as knowledge, but you refer to it as consciousness. Yeah. And even in Balvikas in the self-realization prayer, it's kind of translated as awareness. So I was just wondering, because to me, knowledge versus consciousness or awareness seem like two different things.
Okay, sister. The thing is, Chit does not have a translation in English. Okay, ultimately that's what Chit means. If you I will provide. I hope I didn't jump the gun. Others may have something to say, but anyway, I've started, so I will say. See, Chit, when we know that we are alive, we all know we are alive. Are we aware or are we conscious? Maybe we are both.
We are both.
And we are conscious and we are aware. So chit is actually covers both. Chit is mean aware means there's not something about it. Aware that you are present. So there's another word in Sanskrit which is used. It's called bhati. This is light, shining or like asti bhati priya. We all exist. And when I open my eyes, I can see the world. People may say this sunlight is reflected and it's falling on the retina. But Swami would say, we inherently have an ability to see. So because of that, we illuminate the world. So you can call it illumination, awareness, consciousness. All these are the meaning of chit from what I understand. It is just that we don't have a single word in English which can adequately translate all that is meant by the word chit. So this is my understanding. As Auntie, you were saying something, I would let you say.
No, say chit can be consciousness or awareness or chaitanya, what we call chaitanya, which is in all our in ourselves. That is chit. That's all. It has a similar meaning. Chaitanya, consciousness, awareness, and something else she said. Kalyani said something else.
Oh, I guess
no.
Yeah, knowledge. Because
knowledge. We said knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes, everything is same. Everything is same. These are all synonyms for the word for that chit.
Yeah, I see that that consciousness and awareness, they're similar. I can understand that they both kind of mean chit, but then knowledge seems kind of different from that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true, Sister Kalyani. Knowledge seems to be jnana more than chit.
Jnana, yes.
But it is one aspect of chit. If you want to, it's you aware means that is knowledge also. But generally, what we understand as knowledge is the substance. Sairam Auntie, you were saying something.
Sairam. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to tell. Because you are aware, you are able to know things. That is knowledge.
Sairam, I would like just to expose. Others will, everybody will know that in the English terminology, everywhere, for the chit, they are using the word knowledge. Everywhere, any book, they will say absolute existence, absolute knowledge, absolute bliss. These are the terminology used right from the beginning. So that absolute knowledge, we don't know why they use the word knowledge for chit. But in Sanskrit, it could be translated as jnanam. Jnanam. Knowledge is jnanam because jnanam. And so commonly we have these terms are used for chit. Some people use knowledge and some people use chit and chaitanya and awareness. But of course, awareness is a different thing. Awareness is a different thing. I am aware of this room. That's a different thing. But even consciousness also used for many texts is using chittam, they are using consciousness. So widely we can see that they use chittam for consciousness. Consciousness with chittam. So for beginners, for people who are reading Hindu text, invariably they will see the word knowledge used for chit, which means it's jnana, something like jnana. So, but as brother explained, there is no equivalent word. We cannot translate the word to English. That's everybody agree. But what I said is, this is what we see day to day life. But consciousness is something, but conscious, I am conscious of this. So like awareness, I am conscious of some smell, something like that, no? So the chit is beyond all these things, no? Beyond all these things, there's no understanding. In that state, there's nothing. So simply is that's a state. So when it takes a form, then it exhibit all these nine things here, no? So but I just put it plainly here, the experience that I went through in my life. Thank you, Saira.
So, Sairam, brother, so can we put this way, knowledge, whatever we are reading here, we are getting knowledge. When we put the knowledge with the bhakti or devotion, it will come jnana or intellect.
Yeah, knowledge is generally a very lower words for any common knowledge, anything called knowledge. But here, this knowledge the people were using for chit is not that in that sense.
No.
It is a wisdom like. It's
Atmic knowledge.
Atmic knowledge with devotion, you will get the...
no, it is something that...
spiritual wisdom?
Spiritual wisdom.
Yes.
Wisdom. Yeah.
So like uncle, if I understand what you're saying, so the knowledge is like we commonly use it for secular knowledge, right? Of materialistic knowledge.
It's a spiritual
But
knowledge.
here it's more atmic spiritual knowledge. So when we are referring to chit, the knowledge is translated more into highest level of knowledge, understanding of Atma, kind of. Okay.
So what about the difference between intellect and the knowledge?
Intellect is different, no? Intellect like a buddhi.
Buddhi. I thought maybe with the devotion, once you develop that experience, then you will see you will feel the intellect. I don't know if anybody can explain.
What did you say, brother?
So intellect, when you have the knowledge, when you go through the devotion and the bhakti, you'll get the jnana or intellect.
The knowledge of...
So I think the best course for us to follow is to try to stick to the Sanskrit word and try to understand the meaning, because otherwise we will like when you say intellect itself has been used in many different ways by people. So if you say jnanam, then we will stick to that. I think otherwise we will always run into this challenge. So if you can rephrase your question by using the Sanskrit word, because there's no real equivalent, we can discuss that.
Okay.
I don't want to go to discuss what is intellect, because what I think is intellect may be different from what you think is intellect.
Yeah.
Sairam, brother, that is makes sense, because in first paragraph, the full knowledge is called as Sit. But when you come to the last one, the knowledge is Vidya. So the knowledge of Vidya, of Atma cultivated.
Atma Vidya.
Yes. So as you said, if we understand what is Sit in our own way, like what we are discussing, that will easy to understand what is the meaning of it, because even in the paragraph of first and last has a different way of their explaining. Thank you, Sairam.
Sir, I have a question. So we're saying that Chit and Vidya are similar meanings or have different meanings?
So I think so I think we will go through one by one. Thanks, Shobhalan. I think Brother Dasan is referring to the last paragraph. I think that's the... Auntie, maybe we can read the next paragraph. Kana Itti Satchit Ananda Swarupuni Chuda.
Yeah, Paripurnam.
No, further down, Auntie.
Yeah. Atma Sakshatkariniki Sadgunamal Pradhanam. That one, you know?
No, just before, above that.
There is some Satchitananda Swarupani Chuda Koruta.
Yes.
Sarva Manavanuku Koti Samanam Hakku. It is their right to inquire into this Satchidananda Swarupa.
Okay,
And it is his dharma. It is his ardent duty to go and understand what is this Satchidananda.
Okay,
That's what he's trying.
Then Vidya, so where is the word Vidya is coming?
Vidya. Kale Dikada.
So Vidya is a common word. It's a knowledge.
No, he has not used that word. It is Satchitananda Swarupani Chuda Koruta Sarva Manava Kotiki Samana Hakku Adiye Vaniki Vidyukta Dharmam. That's what he is from.
That's what he says. No, Vidyukta
Yeah, that's
Dharma.
it. That's it. Stick to that.
The third paragraph, the last two sentences.
Yeah, that is the
It's
contemplation
in
of the
English,
Lord.
right?
Yeah, it's different here, you know. In Telugu, it is not said that, you know. But basically, we can understand the contemplation of the Lord is must proceed in union with the dharmic life, he said.
Yeah, dharmic life is important.
Yeah, dharmic life.
Yeah.
If we follow, and it need not be have any status or scholarship or anything to do with to learn about Atma Vidya. Everybody has a right to do that.
Yeah, we don't need to go to any other places.
We don't need anything. We don't need anything.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Swami has said.
Yes, we can move on with that.
Yeah, I think the next paragraph we should.
Paragraph will cover.
Yes, thank you.
Who is reading?
Yes.
Yeah. Kalyani, if you could switch. Yeah, thank you. A good character is essential for the realization of the Atma. In other words, all evil propensities have to be uprooted. Just as the army becomes dispirited and surrenders when the commander falls, so the army of evil qualities will surrender its arms as soon as egotism, ahamkara, is destroyed. The evil qualities are all natives of the realm of anger, so if that region is devastated, the soldiers can never again raise their heads. It is enough to accomplish this alone, for what can Commander Egotism achieve without a single soldier to march under his orders? So, all efforts must be directed to destroy the realm of anger so that no commander can venture to let loose the hounds of war. Let each spiritual aspirant preserve the region of his mind in peace by putting a stop to the rise of this commander and these soldiers. Let each spiritual aspirant bask forever under the smile of the ruler, the Atma. Should I go on for the next one, or?
I think maybe we'll pause here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. The Swami is giving how, you know, the evil armies take over and how we have to throw away the egoism, and along with it comes the other evil qualities. And so our goal or the task or duty is to overcome all these negative forces in us, is what Swami is saying. So I will stop here. If anyone would like to comment on what Swami has told here.
So basically, they're just basically comparing evil qualities to like an army what that symbolizes like similarly like when the army defeats like when the commander falls, the army accepts defeat. I guess it's making a comparison.
Thank you.
So my understanding is, in a battlefield, if we kill that leader, then everyone will surrender. Same way, here the ahankara, I and mine, if we destroy that one, all the other bad qualities will come down. And that is my understanding too.
Yes, correct. If ahankara is destroyed, all the other evil qualities which follow us, they will automatically, they will never raise their heads.
And also Bhagawan is saying another thing, no? That you note that these soldiers, the soldiers are belonging to the realm of anger. So the two ways we can get rid of this problem. One is destroy ego, and the army will surrender to the Atma. Or else, the soldiers, the army belongs to the realm of anger.
Mm-hmm.
So we can kill this army without killing the commander, because these are realm of anger. So if we control anger, the army, the soldiers are controlled. So then the evil propensities are destroyed. One anger is controlled. So Baba is saying, anything is okay, but Baba is giving two ideas for us. Either kill ego, so commander is killed, then the soldiers cannot surrender. They have to surrender to the Atma. No? Then, or else, if we find it difficult to kill ego, kill anger. Because anger, the whole army are coming from the region of anger. So when the soldiers are not there, what the commander can do? So either way, either kill the commander or kill the soldiers, army. Both choices are given to us. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to?
Okay, in this context, I have a question. In the battle with Ravana and Rama, like Ravana, what kind of anger he had it? He had the egoistic attitude. That's the reason he was under the destruction. He had to go. He has to be destroyed. He didn't have any anger. Where is that coming? That I realized that the main cause for everything is the ahamkara. I realized that part. But even in Kurukshetra battlefield, where's the anger there? Because Duryodhana was, I know he has an egoistic attitude, and he was jealous about the others, Pandavas. That is the thing in came in for the fight. Because I realized that the egoistic attitude of that is very destructive to anybody. That is my understanding. And maybe I am something wrong. Kindly, maybe we can discuss a bit to clarify this one for me. Thank you, Saira.
So, brother, can you again repeat? Sorry about it. I got a bit confused.
Sorry, because with Ravana and Rama,
yes,
that there was no anger, because Ravana's attitude was he was egoistic. He has ahankara. right? Even with the battlefield, with the Kurukshetra battlefield, Arjuna and Duryodhana's Pandava and the Duryodhana, Pandavas and Duryodanas, Duryodhana has the egoistic attitude, and he was jealous of Pandavas because he didn't have any. I don't know whether the jealous came because of the Pandavas' children are going to get that kingdom. I don't know, because of that, something related to that, or is that? So my question is that for everything is there is nothing is sorry not for everything. Anger is not the main cause.
Yeah.
The egoistic attitude is the main cause. That's my understanding.
Excuse
Maybe
me.
I'm wrong. Please elaborate that for me. Thank you, Saira.
Where there is ahankara, all these shadripus, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, everything will follow. So it's not necessary that they should have only ahankara, not anger. Anger is it follows. When ahankara is there, anger automatically follows. So there is no separation from separate thing as ahankara is different and krodha is different. No, they are all accompaniments, accompanies of ahankara.
Sairam, Mani Aunty is correct. There are all get together like a friends and come together like that. Not only one, all six enemies will come to like soldiers.
Correct.
That's all together. Sairam.
Sairam, there's a question for Swami one time. One devotee was asking that, I need peace, Swami. Then Swami said, you get that I and mind, then there's a peace. That's the cause of that all problems, I and mind, ego and attachment. Thank you, Sairam.
So, Sairam, brother, Brother Arul always asks nice, good questions. But here, that Ravana is a desire to achieve that Sita. The Pandava's case, that is ego. So that desire, even though Ravana can meditate very well, because of the desire, he lost in the middle. So the character is very important thing. Thank you, Sairam, brother.
They're playing that I and mind there too. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, so brother, Arul has a valid point. Arul is now saying that ahangara he can understand. Ahangara has to be killed. That is Bhagawan's first advice. The second advice is another way of getting rid of these evil propensities is to control the anger. Because from the anger area, the armies are produced, the soldiers are coming from that area. So by killing the army, also we can succeed. Or we had to kill the commander. Arul said, okay, he understands the commander has to be killed, and he doesn't understand how Baba is saying that when anger is controlled, every other propensities are controlled. That is Arul's question now.
Sairam, as Mani Aunty said.
Yeah, both are coming together, yeah.
Sairam, as Mani Aunty said, the anger is part of ego. So anger is reflection of an ego. That's the way you have to look at it here.
Yeah. That's what yeah.
Thank you, Sairam.
Yeah. That what Bhagawan is saying is for us to follow. That either way, some days the ego is very difficult to kill. Not some days, most of the time. He's very, very dangerous person to get control on him, the ego. So, if we see that is difficult, then another way, control the anger. So, anger could be controlled through various means like drinking cold water, lying on the bed, going out of that room, and so many other things. But for the ego, You have no way. When you move out of the room, you cannot control. Ego will be still there. So it is very dangerous to tackle with. So Baba is giving another way. That's it.
Brother, anger also very difficult. You know, it's a 4 type of anger. One person anger is writing in a water. Other person is in writing something in the sand. Third person is writing in a stone. Fourth person is writing on a iron. So in order to get rid of that one, they have to work hard according to the level.
Yes, exactly.
So Sai
Sairam, I think Arun should speak now.
The thing is, the word Swami has used is krodha.
Krodha.
Okay. So we should first get that right, because anger, again, I said English words can be a problem. See, Swami says Ravana's point where he had the weakness was kama. Swami says Hiranyakashipu had krodha, and he says Duryodhana had lobha. So these are the first 3 qualities. That is where they started. They all started from that point, and everything else followed. Kama, krodha, lobha. So the thing is, the word krodha means when you have desire, when you can't achieve your object of desire, krodha is a natural tendency.
Yes, exactly.
So you think somebody is putting a stop from you achieving that desire. So that was the biggest problem for Ravana. He wanted Sita, Rama was in the way. So he developed some sort of a hatred. Krodha, I think hatred may be a better. Kopam is anger. Krodha means hatred. You hate the person who stands in the way of you achieving your goal or your object of desire. But I think what Brother Arul was telling was that he had ego. What actually Brother Arul was referring to is called madha. Like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madha comes. Madha means if you have wealth, you have, who can beat me? Education. Swami talks about 6 types of madham we all have. Kula madham. If you're born in a certain caste, you have I'm the biggest person. Swami uses the word madha. Again, in English, I don't know what ideally the word would be.
Pride, please.
Pride, yeah.
You can say pride. Okay, pride.
Yeah.
The pride of wealth, the pride of education, pride of looks. So Ravana suffered from pride. He said, what can you do? I have conquered the rest of the world. Who are you? You have come with some horde of monkeys. So that was his downfall. But it all started from his desire for Sita. Rama is in the way. He stole her, but he couldn't still achieve. So he thought he should get rid of him. So it is more, I would say, hatred. Krodha is the word Swami has used.
Yeah.
So I hope that clarifies some of the, our discussion. So Krodha, of course, has one element of anger when it shows up, but it's much more than anger. Okay, so that is my take, but I will leave it for others to come inside.
Good explanation, Brother Aruna.
Thank you, Brother Arno. Because when I was reading this chapter earlier, I enjoyed this particular paragraph because most of us had this kind of tendency, and I want to get it on mind. That is the reason I don't know, maybe that sentence, that particular paragraph touched me very well. That's the reason I wanted to bring it to a discussion, so I could better understand this and to become a better person on this particular area. Thank you very much for all of you. I appreciate it.
Sairam, so for all these bad qualities, namely Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, and Matsarya, I still think the root cause could be desire. That's why Swami brought sealing on desires, not just for money and spending, but any other desires, anything. Control your desires and practicing equanimity, equal-mindedness, and so on. Am I right? Thank you, Saira.
That is the first word, no? Kama.
Yeah.
So calm, yeah. Desire. So that's the first word, yeah. So it makes sense, yeah.
Thank you, Saira.
Swami uses the word puttuna illu. I mean, that means birthplace for all bad qualities. That's the word Swami is.
Durgunamulla puttillu krodhamu.
Right.
All bad qualities are born. That's the birthplace. Is Krodha.
Native.
Sairam, if we look at how the human works, normally our understanding is the in a human workshop, even the human being, we can take it as a human workshop. Normally, in my understanding, a human being is divided into three parts: body, mind, and atma. Then Swami divides the mind into four components that is called as andakarana, or the manas, buddhi, chitta, and ahamkara. So first, body is divided into three: body, mind, and atma. Then mind is further divided into manas, buddhi, chitta, and ahamkara. So maybe in this explanation, maybe ahamkara includes each and every bad qualities in there. That's why Brother Arul's question, where is the anchor, whether the anchor should be controlled or other bad qualities should control. Maybe ahamkara includes each and every bad qualities in there.
Yes, exactly.
That's kind of understanding I am having on this one. Mainly the ahamkara includes everything. That is maybe in translation we say ego or egotism. So this egotism includes all the bad qualities, and whether the anchor or the other bad qualities, kama, lobha, krodha, all includes into this ahamkara. That's why we don't maybe differentiate in detail in this particular context. Thank you, Sairam. That's my little understanding.
Thank you very much, sister. So, as you have nicely put it, so as you said, there are three things. One is manas, buddhi, the body, the mind, and the atman. So Swami says, when you don't identify with the atman and you identify with your mind or your body, which is what ahankara does, everything else starts. So as soon as the problem with the ahankara is, it identifies with the body. Once you identify with the body, naturally all bad qualities stem from that, is what Swami is saying, which you have identified, that's right. So within our mind, that ahankara tendency should not go, it should not grow too much. It should not take the lead. It should not become the commander. That I am the body. That function of the mind is needed for our life in this world. Because when the body has a problem, ahankara will say, oh, the body is hungry, just feed it something. With that, it should stop. Okay, it should not say, now feed me more, give me more, get me that. If that goes unchecked, then everything falls down. Even a jnani will have an ahankara, but ahankara will be under check. Ahankara should only say, you look after the body, fine, which is fine, but don't go overboard. I think once you go overboard, all bad things come. Greed, desire, anger, hatred, all this will come because too much importance is given to the body. I think you're right. Thank you very much. Very nice. Oh, I said we have come to 4:50. You know, the time just flew. I think I'm sorry, Brother Dasan. I think you had about that mind and intellect question you asked. I was searching in the Telugu. Swami is talking mano buddhi. So we should use manam and buddhi to check the ahankara within the mind. You know, it is inside the same house. There's problem. Ahankaram, chittam, manas, buddhi are there. So Swami in the previous slide is saying we should use the buddhi, which is discrimination ability of the mind, and we should overpower and check the work of the ahamkara, so that he doesn't become the commander in chief. So that's my understanding. I think it's time up. We can continue. So that's why I didn't want to use the word intellect, but I went and checked. Sorry about it. It's 4:50. I will just pause for anyone to say anything if you all have something to say. Otherwise, we will close for today. And we can start from here. I think there's enough, because Swami has touched upon so many things in the last, even the previous slide. Ponder over them, and then we can continue from where we left off. And if you all feel, we can again reread the previous slide and discuss, so that some of the confusion goes away. Saira.
So for next, maybe we will take it to the next study circle. I have a question here on this particular area, like the egotism, the ahamkaram, and the self-confident. How both of them play in our role, in our daily life, or even in the battlefield kind of thing. In a battlefield, say for instance, I am being destroyed something. So I should develop the self-confident and win that battlefield, or that the egotism that is in me come out, I shouldn't be losing. What is that really provoking in that particular area? I want to understand that part also. Maybe we can take it to for next study circle, if you could kindly discuss that for me. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. I will just make one sentence statement on that, and then we'll close. There's self-confidence with a small s, and there's self-confidence with a big S. Self-confidence with a small s is confident about the body. The self-confidence with a capital S is having the confidence on the self. That sort of separates. One becomes the pride, the other one becomes devotion or surrender. So I will just leave it with those thoughts. That's my understanding. We can discuss this further. I think it's a very valid question, and we all should be clear, because how do we differentiate so that self-confidence doesn't become ego or pride? Thank you very much. So with those thoughts, we will close for today with Samasta Loka and Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.